Hey, Internet. Thanks for all the support over the past few months while I was AFK. I am back now with some big news to share. I have decided to step down from my role at Riot Games. I said from the beginning that building a League of Legends MMO worthy of you all was going to be a long journey. The most important job I could do as part of that was to build an amazing team. And while I try to stay humble overall, I will brag about this team all day. We're on the wrong screen. The MMO is in good hands, and it's the right time to hand over the reins for the next phase. I plan to stay in game development, and I have had a number of exciting opportunities presented to me already. And I will be with you all playing the Riot MMO when it comes out. Praise the purpose. Hugs GhostCrawler. I have many boxes of game industry stuff, game boxes, shirts, and that I would love to sell or auction, ideally for charity. I have zero interest or experience in managing multiple eBay listings, haggling, or shipping. I tend to avoid personal news here. That's not why most of you follow me. But I just lost my brother, and my father does not have long to live. So I will be AFK for some time. So that was back in December. Yeah. It's a combo of personal and professional considerations that led me down this path. We experienced some devastating personal losses last year, and I want to be closer to my surviving family. But while I was on break, I got to think a lot about my career. Grief has a way of really bringing into focus what matters the most to you. Still don't recommend it overall, though. And after 9 years at Riot, it feels like it's time for something new. The MMO is in good hands. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you gotta respect it, man. You gotta respect it. 9 years is a big commitment to a company anyway. I don't understand, like, I saw a lot of people say, like, oh, that's the MMO dead. Like, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, like, especially, like, Riot has a big work from home thing. That was one of the things I noticed while we were there. You remember, Mike? Yeah, exactly. Mike's brought it up already. They're very big on working in the office and being away from home. So why do that? Especially, I would imagine GhostCrawler is more than set up financially for the rest of his life, and therefore can, like, I don't need to deal with this. This is what I want to do. I want to be with family. I don't want to be distant, working in an office somewhere. That's not what I want to be. Riot is a toxic community. They even partnered with Ubisoft to tackle toxicity in game, make a partnership with stopping it. It only got worse and worse as a LoL player. That's since beta from the expansion. I'll be honest, I find that a lot like WoW. But I don't play League a lot anymore. I played League when it came out, so I'm kind of probably a little immune to this stuff. Or, like, just not seeing it in my eyes. But it was the same as the WoW toxic pugs in Mythic Plus. Yes, they exist. I never personally ran into them. Even after doing thousands of pugs for videos on YouTube and stuff like that. I ran into them maybe once or twice. It was an absolute minority. But I have seen, like, the compilation videos of the rage and toxicity in League of Legends and people doing all sorts of crazy shit. So I'm not pretending it doesn't exist. I don't know whether it's just slightly more exaggerated than it is. LoL is worse than WoW. That is kind of a given.
I just went through a grief-related thing when it comes to thinking about my career too, feeling that overall energy on the third post of the thread.
No, I agree. Like, if, I know in my situation, if, like, Emma was seriously ill, or one of my kids, yeah, I'd be wanting to be around her as much as possible and be available should she need me. And, you know, that's if I could choose to do that, which fortunately I can, you know, I would absolutely do that without question. Big Sag. How's your crafter? I haven't got a crafter ready. But yeah, the MMO will be fine. I'm still excited to play this MMO. I'm curious as it is. I feel like after watching the Netflix series, Arcane, that's kind of the style they're going to go with. I feel like that's the way it's going to roll. I feel like it's going to be like that, which might turn me off if it leans towards, say, Genshin style, I guess you could say. Because I tuned into Zeppelin last night for like 5 minutes. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, Jesus Christ, man. I can't be doing with this. I can't. No, it was so squeaky and so, like, happy, bright. And there was a lot of, like, yeah, it was a bit too much. Is it too much? I'm not saying I'll never play it. I'm not saying that, but whatever she was doing last night, I was like, nah. Nah. It's popular for a reason. It is. It is. It'll be a Genshin clone. We need to see the first gameplay. I think they might go more arcane. If it's like a very steampunky style MMO, I think that could be great. I don't think it'll go full into the weeb territory. I don't think it'll do that. I think it might go into a steampunky vibe, which I'm totally down with. I'm totally down. I think that'd be fine. I'm down for something like that. It's got to be a letdown. It depends on how much expectation. I have zero expectations. I really don't. But there's not been an MMO, the new MMO, that I've been really excited about in a really long time. Because MMOs take years to get going. They do. Very rarely is an MMO great from the start. Especially when you're comparing it to the long daddies that have been around forever. They take years to really find their feet and get going. Otherwise, you end up with kind of like New World, where there's so much promise in New World. But they've just... It has no... it's just lacking the structure and the legs of other MMOs. And but as you guys saw with replays, it's like you're halfway through it. And you're like, I'm kind of just doing the same thing over and over again already. And we're not even at endgame yet. Like, I just don't dig this. It just doesn't have that meat. It hasn't got a thick juice. It's like a burger that's just bread. It hasn't got that meat in it yet. It needs to go there. I think New World, and this is what we said to Amazon when we did the review of New World. We were talking to Amazon at the time. Well, the game devs of New World. It's like, this game has the potential to be fantastic. I still believe that now. It's not there yet. It needs work. It needs more stuff. My fear, but given how they've supported League of Legends over the years, hopefully this isn't the case. My fear is that they try and pull off what a lot of MMOs do, which is they build a hype train so massive that everybody buys it at the start, and they more than make their money back and an enormous profit, and then they just kind of let it linger, and they just kind of string people along for a while to keep paying for it. But ultimately, they kind of cut support completely from the get-go. And they're just like, whoosh! They just like drop all support and active content creation after that. Yeah, FF14 has no active content creation at all. It's really sad, actually, that they just left Final Fantasy 14. Like, we haven't had a patch in FF14 in a year and a half. Just ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. No new content, no new ideas. Just stagnant drivel from start to finish. Unbelievable. Star Wars was like that. Yeah. No, Star Wars like no new patch in the day. What the fuck? Yeah, exactly. It's absolute scam. Day and a half without patches. Just dying MMO. Just absolutely the worst. But there are a lot of companies that do that. They make MMOs and they just build a hype train so massive that hopefully enough people will buy it on day one so that they make their money back, and then they just cut all support and they're like, we'll just teeter people on, because everybody loves every MMO. So, that's the wrong wording. Somebody loves every MMO, even if that MMO is objectively dog shit. It's my favorite MMO. I'm going to play it for every day. It needs all the support in the world. It needs to happen. No matter what happens, this is my MMO. I'm going to love it. It's going to be great. So we'll see. We'll find out. We'll find out what's going on there. That should be interesting. The deal with MMO is if you stick it to years of improvement, don't give up, like Witcher 3 was. Take Witcher 3, for example. Witcher 3 was the worst game at launch. You could clip through walls and ground. It became Game of the Year because we worked hard to fix the game for years. MMO is the same, I think. It needs to be hard work and stick to it to make it great. You're right. What I'm talking about is the company intentionally doesn't want to do that. And that might sound like really stupid because you probably have like a good nature as a human being. But like, there are a lot of companies out there. It's like the biggest. When's the biggest revenue stream for an MMO? It's an expansion launch, right? It look at the chart. It goes down, 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 down. Massive spike. Down, 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 down. Massive spike. Down, 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 down. There's a reason that a lot of the companies move to yearly expansion launches because revenue-wise, they're extraordinarily good. And so a lot of companies are like, oh, well, we don't even have to do that, actually. What we can do is make an MMO. We can fucking pay thousands of pounds to hundreds of thousands of pounds to a lot of people to get them to try it, get the hype train going, get the community talking about it, maybe even do interviews and stuff. But our actual plan is to just stop after the launch and trickle out bits and pieces of content with a skeleton team Because we just want that launch day sales. That's what we're after. We want launch day sales, and then we're going to hit it and quit it, essentially, is the strategy that goes along there. I don't think League of Legends will be like that, to be clear, but it's not the first time we would see something like that. It'd be interesting. Star Citizen? Star Citizen's not even out. That's Star Citizen is such an odd one. I still think we should play it. I really do. Star Citizen is like... I feel like Star Citizen is just a pie-in-the-sky dream that just is too big to materialize. That's what I feel about Star Citizen. It was just like, it was like the original No Man's Sky proposal. It just has everything. Right, but we have to actually build everything, or otherwise it doesn't work, right? So it just goes on and on and on and on forever. And yeah, it's like, I think it was just like the big dream. Like when we talked about our idyllic MMOs, we did that video a while back. It was pie in the sky dreams. It was like, there's too much here to be a realistic game. We knew that talking about it. But it's like, this is what I would like to see, but you kind of need every player in the world to play it to make it work. And it's not going to happen, and it needs every feature under the sun to make it work. And after talking with Ian, where he's like, look, yeah, what was his wording? It's in the Ian interview. It's like, yeah, people mock us, you know, oh, billion-dollar company can't do this. And he's like, there's a realism to that, yeah. If I want to do X project, I need to fucking pull people from doing something else. That's the nature of the beast. Resources are finite. It's the way it goes. Like that's just the truth of it. You've got to make hard choices. Sure, we would like Guild Wars 2 style living world in World of Warcraft. But ultimately, how many people are going to go there versus go to the raid? You know, that's how we look at it. It's like, yeah, we could do that. We could build towns around the sword and things like that. But how many people are going to visit that versus going and playing the raid or doing a new dungeon or something like that? Those are the same people who work on both those things. So, like, I have to think about where those resources go. And the answer would be, like, do both, where ultimately it just ends up in a Star Citizen situation where you're just, like, blowing it up into this giant balloon with no